¿Qué pasa to the pack? It is Pack here in NBA 2K23. There are camera angles that you can use. Technically, there's 14 different ones that you can try out. 2K fans are known for using specific camera angles, and I'm going to tell you which ones I think are the worst and which ones are the best, not only for playing, but just how they look and all that kind of stuff. If you like that kind of content when it comes to NBA 2K23 and gameplay and all that kind of stuff, please join the pack and subscribe. Let's get in, man. I'm going to start off with the worst camera, and that is the swivel camera. I really don't like this. When you're taking the ball up the court, you can't see who's on the other side, and then I can't even see, like in this situation with like John Morant, I can't see the right side of the court, so I don't know who's open in the corner. Like I just really don't enjoy this camera angle. I can't tell who's going to come out of nowhere to block me, and then it's just like I can't tell who's open on the fast break. Passing lanes are really difficult to see. There's just so many issues I have with this camera angle, and like when you pass it around, let's say I give it to like Tony Allen, it like completely yeets over to him, and I couldn't even see if he was open. I'm really not a fan of this camera angle. I think this is easily the worst, and I don't know why you would ever want to use swivel in the first place. This one's easily, to me, like hands down the worst camera in the game. The next camera is the rail camera at number 13. My goodness, this one actually might have been worse than the last one. It's just like, yes, okay, you can always see the court and who's around you, but passing lanes wise, my lord, it's like a continuation of rail and swivel at the same time. I don't like this one. I can't tell passing lanes at all from this one. I can't tell if that was open or not. I couldn't tell if Dwight was going to come out of nowhere. I couldn't see Tracy McGrady there if he was open or not. Like, just so many things here. Like, again, fast breaks wise. This is supposed to give you like the idea of like, it's like the all-star game and they have like that rail camera. So I guess maybe that's what they're trying to pull off here, but I just don't think it's enjoyable enough to use it ever. Again, another one that, like, if you're ever using this camera angle, I just think you have a problem. Like, honestly, why? There's so many better options that can do this way better. I don't know why you would pick this. At number 12, it's Quartzite. It's essentially rail at like a little better of an angle. It's not that bad, but it zooms in when I don't want it to. It's kind of the same situation I have with the other one. I still can't tell when I'm going to be open. Again, if you're using these camera angles, like, I just don't see what the benefit you get. Like, you can't see passing lanes. You can't tell like when you're open or not. You can't tell how close someone is when you're driving. It's just so many issues with this camera angle that, like, if you're using this, I don't understand the reason why you would do this. Up next, at number 11, we have the nosebleed camera. I will say that this camera, although it's not good, this is the first camera I think is serviceable. Like, I could use this if like there was no other camera in 2K. This is the first one I would just be like, okay, I could use this if I really needed to, right? I'm not gonna act like it's great. It's not great at all. It's definitely mid, but I can see more or less passing lanes. I can always see who's open in certain situations. There's a couple times like in the corners where you can't really tell, but for the most part, like, I could understand why you would like use this camera, but again, I would never choose to use this camera because why would I pay $60? Like, it's more expensive to buy 2K than afford the tickets that this camera is showing us, if you think about it. Up next, at number 10, we have Broadcast Zoom. This is the close-up version of Broadcast. I know a lot of people use Broadcast, they really like it, and although I think Broadcast has some benefits, Broadcast Zoom I do not like. The idea that you have to get closer is not a big fan of it. Green, by the way. I'm just not a big fan of it, having to get like a closer look at this. You can't see, like in this situation, who's open in the backcourt. Like, I just don't. No, I don't know why you would want to use this camera. There's certain situations where I could see, like, if you want to draw plays up and you watch a lot of basketball, like, this is a good camera angle for you. But zoomed in, I don't know why you would pick this one over regular Broadcast. Up next, we have the side camera. This is essentially rail, but you can actually see the court the entire time, which is really big for me. Rail's actually not that bad. It's like Broadcast, but like at a lower angle. You can still see stuff. Like, I still can't like pass it to be like, oh my goodness, I couldn't tell that was that covered until it was too late. So that's a perfect example of why that camera is just not this good. It's okay. Like, this is the camera they use whenever they like show off the new like gameplay trailers. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like the camera is absolutely like horrendous or anything. It's fine. The camera's fine. And again, I could use it if I needed to. I just think there's better options, and this doesn't make me want to use it at all. At number 8, we have parametric. I know some people use this camera for my career. I don't see why you would want to use it. The only thing I mean, this is essentially the my career like focused camera. It's like if you want to use one player the entire time, this is arguably the best camera because on offense it stays on you the entire time, right? That is a slow jump shot by Mike Conley. But then I can also go back and the camera still stays on like the defensive side, so I can keep staying on my player's like third person view the entire time. It's like the pro camera in FIFA. It's like the same thing. I actually think this camera's pretty good for the most part. Like it has a purpose. I think this is the first camera that straight up has a specific purpose and why you would use it, and that'd be for my career. Like I do feel like if I want to isolate a little bit with Mike Conley, right? I think I can see how the player's reacting a little better, which I like. And also for posting up, I feel like this is perfect for posting up because just like look at that, and one. So up next at number 7 we have Skybox. I'd argue that Skybox is just better nosebleed camera. Like I can really see passing lanes really well here. I can see who's open, who's gonna come out of nowhere. Like you have the biggest view of the court out of any camera, I believe. You can see the entire court all the time, which again, there's not a lot of cameras that can do that in this game, so that's a really good thing. I'll give it up for that. It's just a little zoomed out, so it's kind of hard to see some people sometimes, and like it's kind of hard to see like how open you are because the camera's so zoomed out, especially if you have like a really small TV or monitor. I don't feel like this would work out, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's a bad camera. It's just I think there's ones that are way better. Up next we have Drive. I think this is one that's perfect for having fun. If you want to just go around trying to dunk it on people, like this camera's awesome, to be fair. So I'm gonna try to get like an open dunk with Rudy Gay with this camera, and I'll show you like why it can be so cool. Go for the drive, dunk. Oh my goodness, bro. Like the drive camera just makes it look so much better. I think this camera, again, it has a purpose, and that's like if you want to be like a slasher, I would love to use this camera all the time. It gives like more personality to your character because you can see like you're really close to them. You can see their faces when you're playing the game. Like unlike 2K camera, whereas like everyone's pretty zoomed out, so you can't really see. Little step back from Mike Conley. Like I could tell I was open there. Go back, Paul. No way, man. Pau Gasol not making that's crazy. I do like it. It gives a lot more personality to your players because you can see them a lot closer, and I like that. At number 5, we have Broadcast. This is the most, I'd argue this is the most popular camera in 2K. Like the casual player that buys 2K and plays on this camera every single day, right? Like this is the one that people play like they're like NBA fans because that's what they're used to seeing. The only benefit I see from this camera is that I can see plays develop the same way when I watch an NBA game. Does that make sense? Like I didn't realize Mike Conley would have been open there if it wasn't for that camera. Now I missed it because I'm bad, but like he was wide open for the shot, and I wouldn't have seen that, I feel like, in 2K camera. But because we're in broadcast and I watch enough NBA games, I know that in those situations, Mike Conley would have been open. And like that's, if you're a playmaker in 2K, I think if you're like a pure passer, this camera angle is actually really good, in my opinion. It's a classic. I know some people love it. You know, I personally don't like it. I actually never liked it. I never played on it ever. So I've never been a big fan of it. I don't have a nostalgia factor for it, but I can understand why people would use it. I just don't see a reason for myself to use this camera angle. At number 4, a super underrated camera angle that's the high camera. There's a reason I like this one. First off, this is the camera angle I feel like they used to use back in like the old 2K games, like the very first ones. But the reason why I like it is passing lanes. This game has always been an issue with passing lanes because some players have like intercept on Hall of Fame, and so it's really hard to tell. But with this camera, you can just perfectly see how close someone is to you and how close someone is to a passing lane. You won't get it stolen if you're good enough of a player, obviously, right? So this one definitely has a benefit to it. To be honest, though, I don't even think you can use it in park or rec, but if you could, I would use it because this is super underrated. I really like how you can see how close you are to someone, how fast you need to go to close out, passing lanes. It's just all really clean and nice. At number 3, we have 2K Low. This is really popular, I feel like, with streamers and people that make content. People love 2K Low. A lot of people use it for my career, park. I personally think that it's worse than regular 2K. But to deny that 2K Low has a benefit. Did I just poster Shaq? Oh my gosh. 2K Low looks cool. It's the same thing I was saying about the drive camera. 2K Low is kind of similar to that. So it's like the regular 2K camera that you know, but like on a lower angle that you can watch players drive. You know, it's very personalized. I like it. I do think there's a camera angle that kind of does the same thing but better, and I'm talking about it in a second. But there's no denying that like this camera isn't bad at all. Like I can see why people use it all the time. It's just for me, I would never. At number 2, this might be a controversial take. I think on-court camera is top 2. I love this camera. I'm not gonna lie to you when I say that it's a little difficult to see things sometimes, but in terms of like the closest thing to a first person or third person basketball game, this is the only one that even remotely comes close. You feel like you're using these players because you can actually sort of just see their faces when you're playing with them. Like, I like that a lot. Like, Shaq dunking there feels a lot more real because I'm on the court with him, right? Like, Ja Morant dribbling up the court, it feels like I'm using Ja because I'm actually, like, have a camera on him the entire time. Look at that, bro. Like, look at that. I love this camera so much. It's definitely one of the most aesthetically pleasing cameras. It makes me feel like I'm actually playing basketball. I wouldn't really use it for rec or park because, again, like, passing lanes are a little difficult to like, tell and stuff. And, like, there's certain times I can't see who's open. But I won't lie to you when I say that in terms of like having fun playing basketball, this is like the only camera that makes me feel that way. And finally, at number 1, El Clasico, the regular 2K camera. There's a reason why this camera is used so much. You can always see the entire floor the entire time, which is the biggest reason why you would want this camera. Like competitively, there's almost nothing you can't see. You're always seeing all of defense and offense, and in transitions. The camera flips when you need it to. There's a reason it's called the 2K camera. It's because it's the best camera. You can see the entire floor here. Like, I don't know why anyone would ever use this. And like, it's still, passing lanes aren't perfectly visible, but it's better than most cameras in this game. And there's a reason why people use it. Like, I can tell when I can lob it to someone like that situation right there. It's the best camera. There's not really, like, people say broadcast is better, but they're just lying. This is the only camera I think that's serviceable for any game mode. I like it a lot. There's a reason it's called the 2K camera. It's the best one. Okay, boys. That is it. That is my rankings. What do you think? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like this channel, please give it a sub. I'll see you guys next time.